taking a slice of our latest Canister Feather Damascus here. What we're going to do is we are going to make a knife out of it for a young man who is graduating high school here this year. This little neck knife, nothing super big, but we need to test the steel. So we're going to start this baby up. Okay, we have this all cut up here. Down it's about a 3/16 of an inch. We need to clean up our edges. Our edges are super sharp. Really, really sharp. Okay, so you may think that you can just get in there and wail on this when it comes out. Absolutely not. Absolutely cannot wail on this stuff at this stage of the game. You got to remember that it's all powder, and so when we're upsetting this is its real test right here. Just nice and light. You're not going to have a lot of time to screw around with it. You got to remember that on this particular billet, we necessarily didn't get it pressed down as far as we needed it to. So we're going to assume that there are microscopic voids in this and that it's pretty porous. Now with the next one, what we're going to end up doing, we'll end up really working these forge welds in with the next canister. This one was not forged way out into a bar. It was kept pretty chunky, so you just got to be careful. I'd rather take my time a little bit and have it work out than try and rush it and it not hold together. So far, so good. We're tightening up these grains and everything, and all the pattern. It's going to get tighter, crisper. Now, with every heat, we are flipping our billet or our piece of metal so that we're getting an even amount of upset on either side. We're going from the vertical to the horizontal pretty regularly so as to keep everything centered and upset evenly. It's starting to feel a little more solid, a little more rigid, not wanting to bow as much in the center, which is what we want. We're going to take this down pretty far. The grain is just beautiful. It's so fine. So when we finally get the canister that's going to be the one we make our dagger out of, we're going to start relatively thick, forge it down to the widest point of our blade, and forge it down probably 1/4 inch thickness, most likely 1/4 inch thickness. So we'll probably cut it at like 1/2 inch, and then we'll forge it down to the widest point of our blade and then forge it out into right around 1/4 inch. I'm debating on whether to, when we get this forged down, make a pattern and cut it out, or forge it into a larger piece than what I need and then grind away what I don't need. I'm not sure what yet. In the end, we want to have our quill running down the center of our blade from tip to tail. We're going to be hitting a little bit harder now. The pattern is just so fine at this point. Really, really looks good. I seriously doubt that you're going to be able to tell the difference between a traditional and what I've made here. Based on what I'm seeing on the surface here, it's going to be really hard for anybody to look at it and go, yeah, that's canister, or that's traditional. And that's what we were going for. I mean, that's what we wanted. A quicker, easier, cheaper way of doing it. But we won't know until we get it all, until we get this thing done. Until we get it to the point where we're down, we're in a bar form, we'll clean it up and etch it. We'll see what our pattern looks like again. That's probably as tall as I want it, height-wise. So we'll do this other side, and then we'll get our dog's head hammer out and planish it. This end is most likely going to be the tail end. It's a little thinner. My next heats are going to be all about planishing. Now you're not wailing on this. Pick the hammer up and let it drop. One more heat. We're also going to cool this down with air so we can get it to the grinder, clean up the places we need to clean up, get an etch on it. See what we have. Alright. We're going to be forging in our blade profile. As I want the pattern to tighten up at the tip, and I want it to squish around the ricasso area when we do that area. I want that pattern to remain in there. I just don't want it to just fall off like it will when you grind it. Yeah. We're going to start with the tip and work our way back. I can see my center line here, so that's about where I want that one to be. We need to take and work this other side. So we're using a 1 pound ball peen to do this. Somehow all my freaking custom hammers that I built disappeared. So I have no clue. We'll figure it out. We'll have to build more. But yeah. I'm going to beat this corner down so it meets the center line, the quill portion. Staying together really well. I'm really pleased with how this forges. I really am. We're going to continue drawing this down into a tip. So it's already starting to kind of tell me which side's going to be the spine and which side's going to be the edge. A lot of bladesmiths, almost all of the bladesmiths, they really manipulate the steel to fit their needs. I've always been one that lets the steel tell me what it wants to be. And we're going to beat this all the way down on this side. Keep upsetting this down towards that center line. Alright, we're going to leave there on the nose. One more heat. Just kind of clean that nose up. Then we're going to flip it around. We're going to go back from the nose about 2.5, 3 inches. And then come down with a finger choil or a big old finger catch. And then draw out our hidden tang. And it's not a traditional hidden tang where you have all these, you have shoulders and everything, and ricasso area. It's just a tapered, straight tang. A bit long. It's really thin, so I mean, it's no thinner than like a lawnmower blade, but pretty thin. Now, we're only going to beat on one side of this, the edge side. So we can form our choil or our finger catch. It's a lot of upsetting. So this point on, it's just a lot of upsetting, and just going to be beating on this side until we get it a nice tail going on here. Everything is going to squeeze that pattern down. It's going to look really cool. Really thin on this end. Got a little bit of a crack opening up. No big deal. The crack is opening up right on the end, on the tang side. So what we're going to do is just going to tap it all back into place. Now I did say we weren't going to hammer on this side. We have a good squish going on. What we are going to do is we're going to come over to the horn on this next heat, and we're going to hammer on the spine side and draw it back towards us. You want to always make sure you're putting your knife back in the forge as straight as possible. That way you're not wasting time in the next heat trying to straighten everything out. Getting closer and closer to this actually looking like a knife. I'm going to say maybe 2-3 more heats. One more heat on that tang. The last 2 heats are going to be up on the blade break, finger catch, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so this will be the final heat on the tang. Now, we'll come back through with our dog's head planishing hammer and planish this whole thing when we're done. These next 2 heats are going to be with the peen side coming in here like that on that catch. Not a lot, just a little bit. To be honest, we're probably not going to need that second heat on that. And I told you it wasn't going to be very much that we did right there. We just needed to kind of accent it out a little bit. That way in the grinding process we have a better idea of what we're looking at. Closed up the majority of that crack back there. We at least stopped it from going any further. So we're going to break out the planishing hammer. We're going to get this thing flat. Same as before. Making all the hills flat. This knife's going to be pretty thin. light, easy to use. It's going to be a neck knife. So, can't be like super heavy and ridiculous to use. It's supposed to be dainty. We're going to get our profile cleaned up. Get a preliminary surface grind on it. Give it an edge and see what we look like. So we have our knife blade and our knife handle here. There's a few other pieces that go to this, but we'll get to those in a minute. We are going to be drilling out our knife handle. Now this is a piece of antler. Fits really nice in the hand. Perfect little handle. Nice little pommel area. Really cool, really elegant. It's going to fit the Feather Damascus really well. So you can see here that we have actually cut down our tang. This is what's going to be considered a partial tang. So the other one would have been a full hidden tang. This is a partial tang. This almost gets to halfway of the handle material. You know, so a little halfway to a little bit below is what you consider a partial, and it's going to be more than enough strength and stability for this little knife. So we need to get this drilled out in here. You get all that drilled out inside the box, and then we'll slide and fit our knife blade to the handle, and we'll drill our holes here in the tang for our pins. There's going to be 2. Alright, we got a piece of tape on there. We're going to put this in here. I think I'm just going to hold it right here and do the drilling. Use this as a kind of a brake. So we rounded the corners off, shaved it down a little bit. So we're going to go back over to the drill press and adjust our channel to where it runs this way instead of this way. Okay, we're a little better. Remember, it was coming in at that angle right there, and now we got it pushed up into more in line with what our knife needs to be. Now we're a little fat on one side. That's okay. We're not quite on center. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take a little bit off the inside here and shift our blade. Right now it's sitting here. We just need to shift it just ever so slightly, right like that. So I'm going to just take our file here, and we're going to file out this top section. And it doesn't need a lot. If I'm indexing this knife right there, that is, to me, it already has a kind of a waft this way. That's pretty well indexed where my fingers are. I know where that edge of that knife is going to be, right there. We have our piece here. We're going to be coming from this other side. I need to get a pencil. We got our pencil here. We're going to cut down the outside of the line. Basically, let's see here. We're going to put a mark on here. These are our center lines. I'll put a mark on the outside here. And it's in pencil, so it'll just come right off. And on the top side, and then you just connect the two of them. Yeah, it's wavy and it looks like crap. That's okay. Everything gets covered. And you're not going to be able to see anything once you get it all in there. You may need to drill this out just a little bit more. Alright, we got that all done up here. And the one thing you really should do when you're using leather is you need to come and hit it on here. Tighten it all up. What that does is it creates an impression of your tang, your shoulders at least. It's a good thing to do. Get it all on there. Make sure it's all nice and tight again. Let's get it set well on there. Alright. Now we need to line everything up as close as we can. And we're just gonna trace our tang on there. Do it in pencil, and it's real easy to take off. We want to put our pins right down the center of it. So we're going to put a pin right here and right here, double pin. Then you just want to make sure you get everything straight. Now that we have the holes drilled in our handle material, we have the leather cap that goes on the front of it, and we drilled our holes in the knife blade, stamped it, quenched it, and tempered it. We're going to assemble this thing, and we'll see you right back here. Let's take a look at it. All right, folks, it is really cold. I shut the forge off because I didn't want that roar in the background while we finish this up. But there's the knife. Still a few things left to do on it. We got to build a sheath, clean up some of the handle varnish that's on the blade, and then sharpen the blade. But that's it. Our Feather Damascus antler and leather with brass pin. Now, something did happen with this, and it was almost a catastrophe. The antler split right there. Bam. And I was kind of freaking out a little bit, but we fixed it. We got the crack fully stabilized, and it is as smooth as anywhere else on it now. It is fully packed with epoxy, fully packed with CA glue, and then sanded multiple times in the width, and it has 5 coats of varnish on it. So this thing's not coming apart, and it doesn't look bad, realistically. I mean, it doesn't look bad with the look of the knife, and it's solid, absolutely solid. So it really turned out good. The steel turned out good. I'm really excited to push forward with this process that we figured out here. And in episode 8, we're going to be doing it by hand, but with the same process. We're going to mound a little bit. We're going to split our billet dry, do a dry split, close the can up, and then we're going to weld this can by hand. So make sure you stay tuned for that. That'll be in episode 8. That'll be, I think, what is it, February 22nd? That'll be coming out. Yeah, this will be a good little knife for the young man who's graduating high school. And this will go with him basically everywhere. And the cool thing about it is the handle material is actually out of the Wanaha here in Oregon, and that's where his family's out from, is Wanaha. And so it'll be a nice little kind of a remembrance piece of where he came from and why he loves doing what he does, loves hunting, loves going up to the family cabin and everything. And so this could be a good little piece here. It is a neck knife. So it's going to be, I think he is right-handed. I think I'll have to check to make sure that he's able to. The handle needs to, the blade needs to face that way, or if he's left-handed, the blade needs to face that way. So it'll hang right about here, you know, in the leather. It's super light. Like there is no weight to this at all, and it's really nice balanced, as you can see. So we're gonna wrap episode 7 up with that. And just like I said, stay tuned if you're interested in doing this challenge, but you don't have a press, don't have a power hammer. We are going to show you how to do it without those, which entails me building a bottom and a top squaring dies for my anvil. So we're going to get into that here probably on Monday. Start filming that and get it all done up. So it's really cold in here. I'm going to get out of here. We're going to let you guys go. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, stay safe out there. Be well. And forge on.